Good evening, RPG Limit Break and Randomizer fans. Welcome to the Link's Awakening DX Randomizer and Final Fantasy Randomizer AP tournament. This is the semifinals with Pizza Power versus Races Wild. First game of the set. I'm Sonny Wrath 11, and joining me in the booth tonight, we haven't seen you in a while, Karant, so it's good to see you back.
Well, I've actually gotten the chance to do a little bit of FFR commentary in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, mostly I've just been here for the charity marathons for a while. But it is definitely good to be back and good to be part of something that admittedly I am not fully knowledgeable in some ways, which is, I know FFR decently. I know LADX a little bit, but it's good to be in the booth and in the booth with somebody who has a lot more knowledge about both games. So yeah, it'd be fun. It's gonna be exciting to see how this semifinal goes.
And funny part, it is. Sorry, Team Avalon. The loading screen was messed up. But for the teams on Pizza Power, we have, of course, Maddie and Dark Moon EX. And over on Team Avalon, the team that took, now on DVD, mine and Luffy DV's team out, Rad's Prower and Sir Link-A-Lot. And it's going to be a very interesting race. All the teams that signed up for this are really, really good. So it's definitely something that I can see being anybody's game. But on the Final Fantasy Randomizer side, we do have some blursings to go over. Karant, you want to hit those real quick?
Yep, absolutely. Let me page back up to them real quick. Okay, so our bonuses and malices for the fighter. The bonus is equipped shirt, yay. Plus 10 luck, a little bit more yay. And then the malice is no wearing bracelets, which I don't think a fighter will mind. Thief, the bonus is plus 50 agility and improved cat claw. But the malice, that lockpick of his is coming real late. I want to say level 33, so eh.
You are correct on it being 33. It would normally be 23.
Black Belt, bonus is plus 5 luck and plus 20 to hit percent, which is nice. The Malice is minus 150 gold, which, whatever. Red Mage, bonus, equip gauntlets and helmets and legendary swords. The Malice is minus 1 magic defense per level, which is not great. White Mage, bonus, you get exit to start out with, and you get to hurt undead as we get started. Malice is minus 4 max MP. We can talk about the Black Mage in a minute.
For sure. I mean, Black Mage is going to be pretty quick to go over. Plus 2 level 1 MP, plus 20 HP at the cost of minus 10 MDef. Here at the start of Link's Awakening, runners are going to get a sword. And this actually opens up quite a bit of just the early game. The two biggest things that are needed now, outside of that sword, are going to be either the feather or one of the progressive power bracelets. Right now with the sword, there are quite a handful of checks that can be done, both in the Mysterious Woods as well as Mabe Village, one in Toronbo Shores. And then, of course, there's potential to be able to go into the Gapanga Swamp.
It looks like on the FFR side of things, we saw an AP item for sale in the Canaria shop, so I assume that would represent the usual item that we would see, the progression item that we would see in an FFR shop.
It would. And we saw that the Toronbo Shores item was 385 gold. Maddie making use of the library hints, which so far have been kind of duds. Except for that TR key, that might actually be useful, and that Eagle's Tower key. Eagle's Tower in and of itself, very easy dungeon to complete, one that you can do very, very quickly if you learn how to do a trick called bomb triggers. And it makes it a lot easier. But there is a slight catch this week for the Link's Awakening side, and that is that this is a seashell hunt.
Yeah, it's similar to what we would see from FFR as the Shard Hunt, which is in essence, you open up the treasure chest, you do all the checks, and if you get enough of the items, then you are good to go to finish the game. So it's not your typical sort of go through all the dungeons and get all the instruments as you would see in typical Link's Awakening. You find all those seashells, and that will open up your path to the end.
So, Archipelago, or AP for short, is a multi-world client, if you will, that spans many, many different games. Last year, we had a Final Fantasy Randomizer and Time Spinner Archipelago tournament, and we decided to do another one after having many different communities come on to the Final Fantasy Randomizer scene through our marathons that we've been having, as well as just to showcase other randomizers. And after Link's Awakening got added to it, we had the bright idea to give this a go.
Yeah, and it looks like it has worked really well. I think a lot of people, just from what little I've been able to see as far as my own ability to watch, it seems like a lot of people are really excited about it. And of course, folks talking in chat about how did Sir Link-a-Lot already have stuff on the board, and that was because the team partner is finding items that can be switched over to FFR, and then of course the FFR players can find items that switch over into Link's Awakening DX. And if I remember correctly, we did see the FFR runners resetting after picking up AP items in, for instance, Temple of Fiends. Those items go ahead and automatically load into the other side of the game, and so they don't have to keep them, so to speak, or pick them up again. Am I correct?
Correct. Since it gets sent to the server, that in turn allows the items to be flagged as collected and those checks as done.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that, to some degree for my own benefit, because it's been a little bit since I've seen Archipelago in action, but also for folks who might also be in my boat who haven't seen Archipelago all that much.
So, since I had mentioned it earlier, I should probably go over what the Seashell Hunt entails for Link's Awakening DX. So, the Seashell Hunt, in and of itself, is similar to the Shard Hunt for Final Fantasy Randomizer, or the Triforce Hunt, if you will, for A Link to the Past, where you are looking for 20 seashells and then heading up to the Windfish's egg. Those 20 seashells will open the path into the egg, allowing access to Deathel, the final boss. The only major catch in all of this is that either the boomerang or the bow are needed. That's fair, Synth. So we saw a seashell available in the Seashell Mansion, oddly enough.
Oh, who'd have thunk that?
I wouldn't have.
I guess they can be distributed in so many places that, yeah, you never quite know.
Indeed, and actually I should probably go ahead and make mention of this, and that is that the instruments of the sirens, which you normally get at the end of the dungeons D1 through D8, are not instruments in this case, but instead they are seashells. There are normally 24 seashells spread throughout both of the seeds, but in this case there are going to be 32 spread across the games. Which is kind of funny, as that's the amount of shards needed for Final Fantasy Randomizer to be able to access Topher.
I guess they wanted to just maybe take that idea and align it a little bit further between, I don't know if that was intentional between the two games, but it is a nice coincidence, even if it's not.
So, a question in chat asking which dungeon number is Bottle Grotto? That is D2. So, D1 is Tail Cave, D2 is Bottle Grotto, 3 for Key Cavern, 4 for Angler's Tunnel. D5 is Catfish's Maw, 6 is Space Shrine, 7 is Eagle's Tower, and 8 is Turtle Rock. Question in chat from Yukiko Magashi. Team Pizza Power is on the left of your screen. Team Avalon's on the right side of your screen. So Pizza Power is Maddie and Dark Moon EX. So it looks like Maddie's doing some playing of the Crane game, gonna get some money, making it look super easy. And after you've really figured out how the Crane game works and the timings behind it, it is extremely easy to do and very fun.
Yeah, I noticed. Okay, there you go. Maddie is going to go ahead and grab the item in the middle there. I want to say I'd seen that grabbed on the other side maybe a little bit earlier. Or maybe okay. I can't remember exactly who grabbed it.
It wasn't me, and I'll tell you that now. I didn't do it.
So Link-a-Lot grabbing all of the treasures here in Cardia, and boy, that's a lot of AP items in Bahamut's Horde.
Well, everything's going to be an AP item in the FFR side.
Okay.
As that is how the flags were set up for this tournament.
Okay. But yeah, definitely a place that you want to go if you want to get any potential items over to your partner very quickly. Go to where all the treasure chests are.
Absolutely. And that is just 13 chests. Question in chat about the Turtle Ninja. Yes, Dark Moon sprites are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so you will see just turtles everywhere. Alright, Rad's turning in the toadstool. We're gonna see what that turns into. And that's the hook shot. That's really nice.
Yeah, hookshot in any Zelda game is something you definitely want to see.
Hookshot is quite powerful here in LADX, though not as powerful as some other iterations of the Zelda games. But definitely very nice to see. Let's see what we've got here in level 4 Black Magic. I see Fire 3, Quad X, and Warp. That Warp is super nice, as well as Fire 3. Fairly strong sweeper to have, so it definitely allows more progress to be made.
Yeah, especially when you don't have the big ones, if you don't have the party members to be able to get Nuke or, well, if you don't have the party members, but if you don't have the ability to get Nuke, or if you don't have anybody that can get Fade, then yeah, having those Fire 3 or Ice 3 or Lit 3 can definitely help you out in some fairly sticky situations.
They absolutely can. And a question from Mokura III asking if the Flying Rooster was made into an equipable item in the randomizer, and yes, it actually was, so that way you don't have to worry about losing the rooster after completing Eagle's Tower.
And we've already seen how that can come in handy with some of the navigation a little bit earlier.
And I'll answer this question from, some person I know by the name of Nitsky1. Love you, my friend. The custom sprites for FFR were really implemented, I would say, 3 or 4 versions ago now. Granted, they had been in beta for a little while. So if you have a sprite sheet, you can actually have that applied to your Light Warriors and then just have your custom sprites.
Now, Rad's using the hook shot to very quickly take down the mid-boss of the dungeon here, so made it look very easy.
Now, the question on Endless Boomerang, I do not know for sure, but we did see a ruby found in the Marsh Cave.
Well, that'll definitely help get you a little bit more access because we had the free bridge and the free canal, so the runners on the FFR side can go ahead and go out toward the Earth Dungeon and where the giant is sleeping and waiting for his very stony breakfast. So that'll open up access, obviously, to the Sarda check, as well as a few extra treasure chests.
Indeed. I do believe this is Dade's branch of the rando with just some minor tweaks made in it. Hey, Karan, did you know that there's a mermaid in Martha's Bay?
Yes? Been a little while since I played Link's Awakening, but yeah, I seem to remember, lovely fish peoples hanging around.
That's who it was, Zig. Thank you, K-Branch. You cannot carbonate the mermaid.
No, I'm afraid that's strictly an FFR thing. We can't turn the mermaids into bubbles in LADX.
Yeah, so if you're actually wanting to give Archipelago a go, then you would just go to archipelago.gg and you would have to create a YAML from there to be used. And then you can actually generate your game on the site there.
And our restreamer Hate13 telling us that, as with any feature implemented into a randomizer, there's always that little side note or asterisk that any feature could conceivably be implemented given the due time and motivation. So yes, thank you for reminding me of that.
Ooh, it looks like we might have a dive into the Angler's Tunnel.
Yeah, it looks like both of our runners are pretty much kind of thinking just about the same thing.
Yeah, and Darkmoon grabbing a lot of stuff there for Maddie. Maddie, though, making very good use of a save and quit in order to make it back up here to the Tal Mountain Range cave in no time at all. With that rooster in hand, it makes going through here a lot easier. Granted, normally you would have the Pegasus boots in order to do that. To answer the question from Argent Lupus in chat, what randomizer is used to change the sprites in Final Fantasy? It's just a sprite sheet that can be imported onto FinalFantasyRandomizer.com in order for the sprites to be changed. So, in this case, Darkmoon has imported a sprite sheet of the turtles and is using that. And the site in and of itself applies that sprite sheet to the game and changes the Warriors of Light to the turtles. Alright. Looks like Rads... Was that the key that was just found by Rads? Because if so, that's a major find.
Yeah, I'm afraid I was looking at the FFR side of things whenever Rads picked that up.
Papal Cave absolutely necessary for Sir Link-a-Lot. Rad's got it too. That is a huge find for Team Avalon right now, as Darkmoon needing to hit level 33 in order to get that Thief lockpicking online. It's gonna take a while to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the big issues, or kind of one of the big things that comes with that Thief Malice that we were mentioning earlier, is that later Thief lockpicking means you've got to do a lot more grinding to be able to go keyless. So, and that key, if anybody's not familiar necessarily with Final Fantasy or has maybe not seen it in a while, that key is necessary not just to gain access to some treasure chests, but it's also necessary to beat the game at all.
Yeah, it's very much required, as is the loot. But we'll get to that later.
Yes. Yes, one thing that's lovely about both games, in both games it is necessary to make music, or at least find music in the case of the dungeons of LADX, to be able to actually win the day.
I mean, needing music is a bit of a stretch. Why play an ocarina when we can use bombs?
I mean, fair.
Oh no, that's a pineapple found in Angler's Tunnel, which means Rads very well may have to go back up to talk to Papal. We did get a hint from Pizza Power for the canoe. It is going to be in Bottle Grotto. That's going to allow for quite a few extra checks.
Yeah, that's big for exploration on the FFR side, because not only does that get you access to the volcano and the ice cave, but you also get access to the Castle of Ordeals, and you also can make your way over to most of the destinations on the Onrak continent as well. So yeah, the canoe is absolutely vital to finish on the FFR side.
So you're forgetting one very important thing on this, though, Harant.
Mm-hmm.
It's floaterless.
Yep, that too.
It gives access to everything in the game.
Yeah, because you do have some of the ports available, I think, to help make sea travel a little bit easier. But yeah, no floater means no flying, and so yeah, you have to depend on the strength of your own arms to be able to get you everywhere.
Exactly. So with the map edits that were done just to be able to make this a little bit easier per se, there actually is a river system that allows Lefane and Gaia to be connected, as well as it allows the northern docks to be on, so you can get to Onrak, as well as the Yonikern dock for Mirage Tower. Rad's playing with some fire there at half heart right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, bird key obtained. Now, fun little piece of information here. It is absolutely possible with the items that Rads has to actually get in to Eagle's Tower. There's a fun... I would be willing to call it a glitch. That if you land in between two pits, you actually have a few frames to be able to pull out the magic rooster and fly over the pits. It's similar to uh, the Jesus jumping glitch, or even pit jumping or hookshot jumping, if you will, where it's instead of it being a 1-frame window, you actually do have a few frames to pull out the rooster.
Well, that's a nice little bit of grace kind of implemented in there. Is that just something that is kind of native to the game itself, or did that come up as a feature of the randomizer?
It's something that's native to the game itself. Granted, in vanilla, it's something that really isn't used very often. The most common thing you will see will be the hookshot jumping or even super jumping, which we haven't run across any instance of yet. But Maddie is taking on the big ol' Armos. And definitely in a not great spot, but gets the job done.
Meanwhile, on the FFR side, we have both of our runners having gone ahead and taken out the vampire and discovering, much to their chagrin, that there's no rod for them to continue forward at this point, so they're both exiting out, heading back to their respective vehicles. See, Linkalot is heading back into the inner sea, and I think, let's see, looks like Darkmoon is going to go do some grinding over in the spike tiles and see what they are, see if they are good enough to grind with.
You know, I appreciate that word, chagrin. It's a fun word.
Well, I picked up a few while I was using a lot of money to get degrees, so might as well toss them around every now and then.
That is absolutely fair. We saw a Nightmare Key to Eagle's Tower sent, as well as a Thor Hammer. So there's some decent stuff for sure. And it looks like Darkmoon's lost a thief and is focusing on the fighter right now for that grind.
Yeah, I think was resetting out of it a little bit earlier to try to get better, basically, attack patterns from that blue dragon, because from what I could tell, Darkmoon was getting ambushed a lot and was then just getting his clock cleaned. So certainly resetting out of that is no shame whatsoever. It looks like Sir Linkalot's going to check the trap tiles here in Temple of Fiends and see if they are worth anything. Turns out, well, they're not worth anything in terms of the grind anyway.
However, that seashell puts Rads one closer.
Yep, absolutely.
Now the biggest thing that's needed really will be either the boomerang or that beautiful bow. We'll just have to see which one comes up first. Ah, here we go. Bomb trigger. So Rads ended up using the pause buffering method to get a bomb trigger to activate. As you may have noticed, he moved to the border of the screen transition, faced up, and then hit upright, and then dropped a bomb. The screen transitions as the bomb's being dropped, and then what happens is there will be an instant explosion, another bomb gets consumed, and then that bomb explosion triggers a cutscene or text that's supposed to happen, in this case giving Papal the pineapple, and allows that check to be done. It also gets used very heavily coming up here in Eagle's Tower. Here in Eagle's Tower, if Rads goes that far, there's actually the potential of 4 different bomb triggers to be done. It looks like Maddie is trying to figure out what to do here. As there are definitely some interesting scenarios going on right now. In terms of items, Rad's is actually fairly well set. Maddie's just missing a couple of things here and there. But it's not too terribly many things. Then over here on the FFR side, well, it's pretty well even.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference with FFR right now is just that Link has the key. It looks like Link has found a pretty decent grind tile over here in the castle. Is finding that frost dragon. So probably going to be spending at least a little bit of time here getting some levels and before progressing onward. Whereas Darkmoon seems to have settled on the grind tiles found over here in the Hall of Giants. So Blue D versus Frost D, essentially. How tinted do you like your blue type dragons?
About that tinted.
Yeah.
So, question in chat from Nathaniel. What are the AP items that they're looting? So, AP in and of itself is hosted on a server, and the AP items are just items that are in the randomized pool that get sent out as they're checked. So each check being an AP item could mean that it's some sort of garbage item. It could be a very good item. You won't know until you actually look at the console and see what has been sent.
Yeah, and that console is, I believe, what we're seeing above, kind of between the runner teams, those text boxes that you see kind of between those two groups. Though that is the window, I believe, that is conferring those items, that's showing what items they're getting.
Correct. But while we have a brief break in the action, let's get some well-deserved shout-outs given to our trackers of Odron and Socket. They've been doing an amazing job so far. And, of course, our restreamer Hate the 13th, because, you know, he's always amazing. And, of course, a big thank you to RPG Limit Break for allowing us to, well, have this match on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much to everybody for helping out, even though Hate is intent on denying the efficacy of his restreaming efforts. I will object to his objection. But definitely, yeah, thank you very much for letting us have this race today here. Because obviously it's great to have it anywhere, but definitely RPG Limit Break is a fantastic channel to host on. And they've always been very accommodating with anything that we've done, and whether it's FFR or DWR or any of the communities that I've been a part of. Certainly RPG Limit Break has always been great for, so definitely much appreciated from this humble commentator.
So Rads was trying to do another bomb trigger there. The problem with doing the bomb trigger from that room with the sparks is that you have to defeat the sparks in order to be able to actually get the bomb trigger to work. If you do not defeat the sparks, then you cannot get the bomb trigger to activate, which is slightly unfortunate, but not something I would call the end of the world. So, as it stands, I'm not sure where Maddie is on number of seashells. And I know that Rad's is over 10 right now. But that's about all the information I've got when it comes to that side. Hello, Power Bonk. Right after D7's mini boss. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially since we have I believe, if I was remembering the flags correctly, we do have black belts that can punch things, at least for the semifinals. So a power bonk is definitely, I mean, well, black belt will be able to bonk hard enough on its own, really, but power bonk to help accelerate that quickly is certainly nothing to shake a stick at.
But I want to shake a stick.
A pointy one?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, just don't shake it at me. I don't need any more. You know, I don't need to suffer any injuries. At least not right now.
I would just hand you a 16,000 gold bamboo pole.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah.
Hey, it's made of gold. That's why it's 16,000.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you could probably even use it in space.
I think you would enjoy this randomizer, Cheese. Alright, let's see where our runners are at right now. As Trolls just absolutely destroy Link's party there. Yikes. But yeah, Cheese, I think you would absolutely enjoy this rando.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think we saw a bomb trigger on Rad's side as we kind of bringing down the pillars here.
Yes, we have seen two. Kind of, sort of on menu warps. So, what you saw there, Cheese, was a bomb trigger. By doing a screen transition and dropping a bomb more or less at the same time, that then allowed Rads to take down the pillars without having to lift the giant rock that's here in D7 and actually end up rolling it through the dungeon to break all the pillars. It makes it so much easier. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think Rads knows that the sparks have to be taken out. So unfortunately, Rads is going to have to go around the other way. But Maddie, on the other hand, right now, still without bombs by the looks of it. And hey, Garant.
Yes.
Do you see what I see on Link's side?
I see a grind. I see a desert. I see steak.
Yeah, bud. Some blue stakes.
Do I see blue stakes right off of a power cycle?
You see blue stakes right off of a power cycle.
Oh, I think I see myself a meat grinder then.
Oh, for sure. So, to answer that question from you, Cheese, the big fetch quest is... It is broken into smaller sections. So, you could get the letter, and then it just immediately reward you with the magic rod. Or you could get the dog food that then gives you the Yoshi doll, that then gives you the broom, and then you get an item from the broom. So it can go any and every which way.
So speaking of blue stakes on Link-A-Lot's side, I also saw blue stakes that had damage poison that was doing a very good job of taking out our warriors. So Yeah, it's not the easiest, not the savoriest grind as we might have initially thought it was.
I mean, sometimes you gotta take the chances, question mark.
I think Link took a few of them and then decided no more chances were worth taking. So, yeah, just got a few bits of experience and is going to be feasting on, I think, much tastier and um, much less bitter sandwiches over here.
Sandwiches. Sandwiches are amazing early on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you get, especially with the docks that we have in place to be able to make the the transition over to the desert a lot quicker, then yeah, the sooner you can get to them and be able to grind them up, then the much better off you are. And I'll be curious to see how far Link takes this. Probably, I believe Link has a fighter and a black belt in party, so most likely we'll take it all the way up. I would figure to at least 32.
All right, Raz is fighting the eagle here at the top of Eagle's Tower, and the Grim Creeper is actually on the eagle's back, but that hookshot hit is going to finish off the eagle as well as the Grim Creeper. And Maddie with a very, very good maneuver right there to just walk over the pit and be like, wait, there was a pit here? I don't know what you're talking about. And that is a chime as the D7 reward.
Well, perfect timing considering where Link was.
Yeah, that worked out really, really well.
Yes, hey, just go grind some sandwiches in the meantime. I'll just open the door for you.
Yeah, pretty much. And now we get the Ballad of the Windfish over on Rad's side.
It looks like Dark Moon has settled into the Frost Deeds that we saw earlier on Link's side over in the backside of Astos' castle. So, again, we've got competing grinds. I kind of get the feeling that Link's grind is going to be a little bit tastier than Dark Moon's at the moment, though.
There's definitely going to be more efficiency to be had in Link's grind. So, quick recap of the flags for those that are either just tuning in or missed the explanation earlier. LADX is on a seashell hunt, which is the equivalent to a shard hunt or Triforce hunt. In this case, only 20 of the 32 seashells are needed, as the 8 instruments have been replaced with seashells as well. FFR is floaterless, and of course still has the 32 shard requirement in order to be able to shatter the black orb and enter the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Hibiscus and Broom coming from greater than, less than. Alright, Rad's going deeper into Bottle Grotto, hopefully. There's not very much that can be done here, as the feather is still at large. Nobody has found that yet. And yes, that is a big note. The feather cannot be hinted for. That is one of the rules that we actually set before we really started working on figuring out what the stages of the tournament were going to be, as we really weren't 100% certain on everything, but we were concrete on banning hinting for the feather.
Okay, so if you're, I'm going to play a little bit of sort of teacher's advocate here, because I guess the reason for that doesn't immediately come to mind for me, but why is that such an adamant sort of thing?
So, easiest explanation to give with it. The feather is just straight busted. And by straight busted, I mean you can break every single dungeon in the game with the feather because of one trick called super jumping. And the way super jumping works is you clip Link into a wall and you jump. You face the wall and then face away from the wall while you're mid-jump. And what that does is that jumps you from the height. It acts like you're jumping off of a ledge from the height that you're at when you actually finish the jump. And then it lands you insert number of tiles away. So here in the case of Eagle's Tower, that can actually be used to do a trick called Goomba Surf. And that trick in and of itself is fairly difficult to do, but also very rewarding if executed properly.
Well, I might have to see if I can see that in action, because your explanation was helpful, but I'm the sort of person that I have to sort of see it for myself. You could describe it all you want, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So, hopefully we'll be able to see it. If they find the feather, maybe we will. But yeah, that sounds like it'd be a big way to try to kind of break the dimensions of the game. Which, I mean, if you're able to do that, then of course, go for it.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it really, really breaks the game. But yeah, Odron actually puts it perfectly. It's more or less a double jump.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see where that would come in handy.
As funny as it's going to sound, like, you've played Minish Cap, right?
Actually, no, but I've seen it played.
Have you played I think it's Oracle of Seasons that has the Rocks Cape?
Again, no, but I've seen it.
Okay. So, the Rocks Cape is a double jump item, and super jumping acts as if it were the Rocks Cape before the Rocks Cape existed.
Yeah.
I see an Oxyale was found for Dark Moon, though I'm not sure where it was found.
I'm not certain either. Has that key, so is able to get into the locked door of the Sea Shrine here. And chat mentioning that it was in Eagle's Tower, so.
D7 for that. That makes sense. And I know that there are some of the tricks that Rads doesn't entirely know. So I can't blame him for not grabbing it. So that sideways push on a block is not so much a movement buffer thing, but more a clip into a wall and get in between the block and the wall pixel-wise to be able to push the block off to the side instead of pushing it in the direction that you're facing, which would be forward. All right, Maddie giving us our first look at what Sale is going to give for the dog food, as that is the name of this crocodile. And it's just some money.
Whoops.
Oh, that was a tail key found for Maddie by Dark Moon on the mermaid's floor, no less. I did not see if Dark Moon carbonated Bubbles. It doesn't look like Bubbles has been carbonated yet. Pegasus boots as well. I know Maddie is quite happy about that right now.
Yeah. Yep, so happy that Maddie is just immediately dashing all around.
What you gotta do when you get the Pegasus boots.
Yep, absolutely.
Dark Moon decided against carbonating Bubbles. And the magic rod in D1. Oh, good lord. Okay. There's a lot of real good stuff here. So, to answer your question, DH Stom, yeah, this is a very different AP tournament setup, but at the same time, this one was organized by the FFR community as well as the LADXR community. That's the feather for Maddie. I wouldn't entirely say that, Eugene, as the way that everything kind of panned out for the rules on LADXR, the only thing that really got solidified was no hinting for the feather. But here comes a super jump for you to see, Carl. But Maddie missed it. There it is.
There we go. Yeah, I saw whenever Maddie got that feather, my immediate reaction was like, okay, so now we get to see it.
Yep. In the dungeon that it would normally be in, too.
Oh, well, there you go.
Alright, Rads is going to check the southern face shrine. Maddie just blitzing through stuff now. And that's 12 hits for the black belt over on Link's side. Link has been just doing so much damage.
Yeah, the FFR end of things is not going to be terribly difficult for Link at any point, I think, now.
No, it is not.
No, having One Punch Man at your command is pretty much, I wouldn't necessarily say guaranteed, but it's about as close to guaranteed as you can get.
All right, Dark Moon is continuing on through the Sea Shrine. Link going through to check everything, at least that he can. And doesn't have much of anything to do now. Which is slightly unfortunate.
Welcome, everybody coming from Bottom Tiers community. Welcome to the LADXR FFR Archipelago tournament. We are in the semifinals. and we're having a great race here between Pizza Power and Team Avalon. Pizza Power with Maddie and Dark Moon EX is on the left-hand side of your screen, and we have Team Avalon with Rads and Sir Linkalot on the right side of your screen. They are working together to play LADX and Final Fantasy Randomizer simultaneously, getting items for each other, trying to help each other with their acquisitions to be able to finish off, of course, all the dungeons and all the usual things in both games. It's been definitely a fun race so far.
It definitely has, but right now, Maddie and Darkmoon have a significant advantage as Radz just did not grab the chest that held everything needed in order to be able to get the feather. I just came down to grabbing that Oxy Ale that was inside of Eagle's Tower, and I don't foresee Radz going back to Eagle's Tower anytime soon.
Yeah, so the Oxyale, you said the Oxyale was found in Eagle's Tower. It was in the sideways chest that you had mentioned, correct?
Yeah, it was in the chest that required the sideways block push. Maddie using the ocarina to get rid of the Pole's voice. Always a fun thing to see. As Radz finishes out the signpost maze, what is going to be here on Mamu? And Maddie is actually coming up to my favorite boss, honestly. I love Bottle Ghost. This fight is probably what I would consider to be the most fun, especially when executed properly. Yo, Wells, thank you for that continued subscription, my friend. Also, how you doing? Alright, that's the end of the Bottle Ghost, and just another AP item. It's the canoe. Oh, that's where the canoe was.
Ooh.
Oh, no. That's not good. I might be hearing some stuff about this seed later.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm the one that rolled it.
Hey!
I have rolled a doozy, apparently. And I think Radz is realizing now that it might require a little bit of extra stuff. But we did get a hint for the bow in Sky Palace. No sign of the cube just yet, though, and that's the only problem. But Darkmoon does take down Kraken. That is 4 extra shards for Darkmoon. As Maddie re-enters Angler's Tunnel. So there actually is a fun little trick here in Angler's Tunnel that Maddie can use to her advantage and be able to jump around one of the paths that normally would require 2 keys. think Maddie is still without bombs. And Maddie got that jump in order to skip needing the extra keys here. And here comes the trick known as Jesus jumping. By jumping, landing on the water long enough to see the splash animation come up, you can then hold down A when you're unpausing and be able to jump on the water. Unbuffered, it's a one-frame trick, but the nice thing about the pause buffering in Link's Awakening DX is that no matter what, if you unpause and then hold down start in order to pause it again and get the menu to show back up, the game will only advance one frame. So it is a guaranteed buffer for one frame.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely seeing Maddie put that to good use right now. It's definitely a nice trick to see, especially if you haven't really seen it all that much before.
Super useful, very strong. Overall, really, really good trick. Something, and good tech to have in the back pocket. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And there is another trick from Maddie, a P-hat jump, in order to be able to get up here to where the nightmare key would normally be. There was a hint thrown out for the flips, not quite sure where those landed. And it looks like Rads is heading over... I was going to say heading over towards Turtle Rock, but decided against it. Oh, a cube in Turtle Rock. A cube on Hothead, no less. Oh boy. So that requires the Turtle Rock Nightmare Key in order to be able to progress even farther. This is definitely a seed.
Well, congratulations. You've rolled a good one, it seems. You will be hearing about this later.
I definitely will.
Well, I guess it'd be a good time to say, since we are an hour in, please follow our runners for putting up with Sonny's nonsense.
I generated some grade A nonsense here.
Well, what can I say? It's a semifinal race, so it should definitely prove and test the mettle of our fair runners here.
Absolutely. And Maddie, if Maddie were to try to get into TR right now, she would not be able to. Actually, no, she would be able to, as Frog Song of Soul is in tow. So the bombs aren't entirely needed to get into Turtle Rock. I think the only thing she might be missing is the ocarina. I'm not 100% certain. Rad's got bombs a while ago. I think it was from Papal's chest. And I know exactly what Maddie is doing right now. So This will initiate a screen transition that causes Maddie to fall straight into the mouth of the catfish for Catfish's maw.
Oh boy.
This trick, in and of itself, that Maddie just used, is known as a hell logic trick. And that is because it uses multiple glitches in order for it to be possible.
So yeah, definitely. I would say don't try this at home, kids, but try it at home. Just, you might need to practice it a little bit to get it down.
Maddie definitely broke out one of the more difficult tricks to do in the game and executed it beautifully.
I was gonna say casually, just made it look relatively easy.
She actually taught me how to do that as easily as she does, and it made so much sense after I did it for the first time. If you ever want to learn tricks in this game, I'll tell you now, two very good teachers are Pink Batman and, of course, Maddie here herself. Alright. Stone Beak for Eagle's Tower for Maddie. That is something. Not what Maddie's looking for, but it is something.
I appreciate that you can faithfully employ a good definition of something.
Well, I mean, Odron gives it the best definition here. It's a hint that won't be checked. Oh, nice hook shot clipping from Maddie there. That was gorgeous. Now Maddie's actually going to go through this section in reverse.
Pulling out all the stops then.
Oh yeah. That was a reverse super jump. That one is very fun to do, but also very, very difficult. The nice thing is that this also allows Maddie to completely skip the Master Stalfos fights. So there was the D8 Nightmare Key, which means that Maddie is going to be able to get over to Hothead and get that cube. Link, on the other hand, right now is just working on getting the party up. Raz is having to go back over to the Eagle's Tower. And this is definitely a feels bad moment for Team Avalon, where Team Pete's Power here is just chugging along. No big deal. But here before too long, Maddie should be heading over to Turtle Rock and will soon be able to get that cube, giving a massive, massive amount of checks to Dark Moon, which very well may put Maddie into go mode.
So you said really about the only. Oh, okay, yeah. You said the bow, the ocarina were items that Maddie was likely missing at this point, along with bombs.
Bow and bombs, or even boomerang for that matter. But the biggest thing being really just the seashells.
Yeah.
Level 2 bracelet as well as level 2 sword in ordeals allows Maddie to pick things up faster and deal more damage. Looks like Rads is trying to figure out how to get what was missed earlier. And I think even though Maddie feels slightly behind, if not very behind, I don't think Maddie realizes she's not as far behind as she might think. If anything, she's ahead right now.
Yeah, of course, I mean, obviously, neither of these runner teams can see the other or should see the other, or can hear the other's chat or what have you. So any feelings of feeling behind are certainly understandable because of, I would suspect, probably not having bombs would contribute to that to some degree. Just maybe not being able to explore as much. But yeah, maybe upon watching back, I'm sure Maddie will likely see just how the seed was going. But I could definitely get that, especially because we are in a semifinal, so you know that every team that's left is at the top of their game. So you're expecting the other team, you're expecting your opponents to be able to make all the right moves, and you're hoping that you're making all the right moves at the same time. And there's
For
that
sure.
Oxyale.
Yep, there's that Oxyale for Link. Link's going to be able to go. And Maddie got the bomb hint. And probably is like, oh, okay.
And Link taking that very buff party and heading straight for Onrak. Very understandable at this juncture. You've got so many checks that are in there. Of course, we've already seen how many of those resolve. But Link, of course, going straight for all of this to try to open things up for Team Avalon.
Yeah, this is ultimately where things are going to get more difficult, I would say, for Team Avalon to catch up, because right now Pizza Power is just so far ahead.
Yeah, Avalon's going to have to retread, of course, a lot of the territory that Pizza Power's been able to traverse over the last, I would say, probably 10 minutes or so, I would guess.
It's been a lot of time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we saw the Angler's Tunnel and Color Dungeon Nightmare Keys here in Volcano. But ultimately, still just awaiting seashells to come in for Maddie to really be in go. Rads probably will be able to complete Bottle Garado soon. Color Dungeon is labeled as D0. Since it was the added dungeon for the DX version. Probably D9. But yeah, Link and Rads definitely have a lot of catch up to do now. And I know that they are both feeling quite behind after this. Alright, there's the Pegasus boots for Rads, which is definitely appreciated. And Maddie is about to do one of my favorite things in the game. So this is another water screen transition. In order to be able to get over to this area, But the nice part about this area is that it is the cave that leads over to Face Shrine proper. Rad's got tail key from Link. He will be getting the magic rod as well as the Rock's Feather very soon. No tail has been found for either team. So the boxes that you see come up saying AP item on the Final Fantasy Randomizer side is just how the items are displayed. Each check in FFR in and of itself is going to yield an AP item, as all of the items are put into a pool and then distributed amongst the worlds. Looks like Rads is going to go ahead and check everything that he can here in D1, which I cannot blame him for. I think it's better to do that just to make sure that everything is obtained.
Yes, I think especially after having to go back to the Eagles Tower to start the process, getting the Oxy Ale and starting to move things forward. That I get the feeling that you've really got that feeling of, oh no, what if we've missed something else? Or what, you know, we have to make sure that we don't miss anything else. We have to be super thorough with everything.
Absolutely. That's something I would completely agree on.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely understandable.
So, the thing Rads is forgetting to do on this trick specifically is jump in order to be able to get over that key block. Maddie, though, here in Face Shrine, making quick work of so many different things here. Really making this dungeon look super easy, which this dungeon, I would honestly say it's not too terribly difficult. It can be a little more confusing at times, but outside of that, it's not too bad. And the only reason it can be confusing is if you just don't keep track of where your pegs are from the switches.
Yeah,
Maddie, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, if I was reading correctly, I think Maddie has 17 shells now.
Yes, Maddie is 3 shells away from being able to pop open the Windfish's egg.
Make that 1.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah, 2 of them just came in from FFR. So that's assuming I've been looking and counting correctly.
Yep. This is gonna be a thing.
Yep.
Still missing the bow. Still missing the boomerang. There's a bit that's needed.
Yeah. I think I saw on Rad's side that Rad's currently has 13 seashells, so obviously not quite as many, but still starting to advance up that count as well.
That should be the 20th seashell for Maddie.
Yep.
Boomerang would be massive to hint for. That is 20. Let's see if Maddie decides to hint for the boomerang. Maddie has hinted for the boomerang. And it is somewhere here in LADX. question is, where is it? It's on the tree. We are going to see an LADX finish before FFR. That's big. That's really big. Because the boomerang in and of itself is the most powerful weapon in the game. For one reason and one reason alone. And do you know why that reason is, Karan?
I'm afraid I have forgotten, so please enlighten me.
It one-shots the final phase of Deathel.
That's pretty good.
Where normally it would take a lot of arrows.
Yeah. I don't think, whenever I played Link's Awakening, I don't think I ever knew that, or I don't think anybody told me, so I was not aware of that.
All right. Maddie is in the egg. And if everything goes well here on this fight, then there will be 1G for Pizza Power. So we are in egg phase. And with that, here we go. Phase 1 of Deathel, of course, the blob phase, as I like to call it. It's all magic powder based. 3 hits. Moves into the Aghanim phase. I have faith in Maddie. I'm going 0 blue balls. So Rad's just finished out Bottle Garado. And Maddie is setting up to try to get the spin attack and gets the quick kill on the Moldorm phase. Gets a super quick Ganon phase. And then, of course, the easiest phase, the calm before the storm, if you will. And now it's on to the final phase of Deathel, just waiting for the eyeball to open up and be revealed. And toss that boomerang. And Maddie missed. There we go. And get one of your G's out, as that's the end of half of the run for Pizza Power. Dark Moon just has to finish out everything on FFR, and that will be the GG's for Pizza Power. Whereas right now, Rads and Link have a lot of catch up to play.
I'd say as far as Team Avalon's concerned, the only thing I could see potentially right now being an advantage would be just the levels that Link has grinded on his party. I'm not sure where Dark Moon's levels are in regards to FFR at the moment, but I can't imagine they're super far behind at this point.
They're not very high at all, actually. I think I saw mid-20s.
Okay, yeah, and Link's black belt can basically punch out the planet right now.
I mean, if that black belt were going into a game of Megaton Punch against Kirby, then that that monk would win.
Yeah, I would figure.
All right, Katana +3, Excal +4. Darkmoon's got a pretty good loadout right now when it comes to weapons. Didn't get a good look at the armor loadout, but I don't think it's going to matter too terribly much. It is on to the Temple of Fiends for Darkmoon. Where Link and Rads are having to do some cleanup. All right, we got a Topher entrance from Darkmoon in 1 hour and 23 minutes flat. But, Garant, I'm going to let you take over for Temple of Fiends.
All right. Well, we've got Darkmoon getting everything ready as far as all of the inventory items, and goes ahead and gets ready to play that loot, which will open up the slate. And then the key, of course, will get us into the shortened temple. We face off with Lich, casting a Fade or Holy Spell, and then we've swinging a very sharp sword, and Lich, well, Lich gets to be the speed bump that Lich typically is. Carry, meanwhile, we've got, looks like Fade going out. Fire 3 on Carry's end is not going to do a whole lot. Swinging, we've got Nukes, going to hit Carry right in the face. Got a Black Belt that's also going to hit Carry right in the face. So, not finishing it out in one round, unfortunately, but shouldn't be too much longer. Get a good nuke in, get some swings in, and yeah, Carry goes down fairly easily. We're getting mid-20s. So then we're on to Fiend number 3 with Kraken. So casting Holy and Nuke. Same program pretty much as usual. Swing with the strong boys, cast with the magic folks. And hopefully the Kraken won't take too much vengeance upon this party of light warriors. Doesn't look like it's really poised to just yet. So, got more casts of Holy, more swings going out, and Nuclear's going to do a lot. Does not take anybody down, though, so Darkmoon, fortunately, is going to be able to get everybody healed back up before facing the Tia 2 fight, and goes ahead and pushes into it after a couple of heal 3s. So, pretty much the same policy as before. Going to go ahead and swing, and I believe I believe that's a fast that's going to be getting on one of the fighters here. Sorry, it's a little difficult for me to see some of the details here. Yeah, we do have a fast going on. I believe Darkmoon, looks like Darkmoon's using the modern spell names for some of this, so admittedly it's kind of throwing me off a smidge. Nuke coming in from Tia 2. Takes out looks like the Black Mage. And so we'll see if this party is able to continue on. Definitely not in a great state right now, so is able to take down Tia 2 though, so is able to make it through and is going to push on to Chaos and move the party members around a little bit just to make sure that everybody is in their right spots. Almost accidentally pushes that exit. Fortunately steers away from it. That maybe shot Darkmoon's heart rate up just a teensy bit for that moment. We're going into the Chaos fight with 3 party members, and is going to go ahead and looks like going to be using all of the spell items to try to get everything ready here. Chaos starts out with an ink, so not too big a deal. Goes ahead and tosses out. Looks like we've got the Roost Stick on the Thief's end of things. We go ahead and use that to just get the defense up so that hopefully Chaos's physical damage can be mitigated. Looks like Harm 4 is going out, I think, on that White Mage's end. So I think ran out of Holies. Quad X fortunately does nothing to that fighter because fighter's got more than the 300 HP that the threshold is for Quad X. So still though, continuing with the Cure 4s, or not Cure 4s, the Harm 4s rather, sorry. Curing the world of pestilence, I suppose. And going ahead and continuing, using that Cure 3 stick, the White Mage is going to continue healing until it is dead, so no more healing, unfortunately. So now it is down to our 2 fighters, or to our 2 physical fighters, to try to see if we can take this down. Going ahead and using the heal pots on the Thief, just to make sure that that Thief is up to bat here. Making sure that no stray spells can take it out. Definitely good strategy there. And is continuing to get those hits in. The Thief is continuing to swing. The Thunder is continuing to roll here. So Chaos is certainly not going down without a fight. But fortunately, all of those heal pots are going to use. And with that last swing, Dark Moon has finished. And that will be your GG's officially for the Pizza Power team.
And their time ended up being a 1 hour, 27 minute, and 59 second time. Get your GG's out for Pizza Power, as they have taken game 1 of this match.
So definitely GG's to them both. Now that they have both finished, presumably, or at least hopefully. Oh, yeah, we are definitely going to have them in the booth. They just popped in now. Yep.
There's the other half.
Yeah.
Hi.
Let me have it. Come on.
Oh my
ready.
god. That seat sucked.
I acknowledge my mistakes.
Oh my god, what was that magic, dude? Come on.
I mean, it was your fault for taking the White Mage with -4 max MP.
I couldn't help it, he was forced.
I know, that's the point.
How was that my fault? You rolled it.
Because we're legally admins and we accepted that these were allowed to be in the settings.
Hey, to be fair, I am one too, so...
Yeah.
That was wretched. When you're sitting there going, well, I guess the best thing I have to take out the pirates is confused.
Yeah, saw that.
It worked. It worked. I was happy about that, at least, you know?
It did, which I was kind of surprised about. Okay, Maddie.
Yes.
How about them explosives?
Yeah, I saw in the dump that they were in Dream Shrine. I'm just like, oh god. Like, because it's like I didn't care, because it's like, okay, cool. I got Tail Key, and I'm like, I'm just gonna beeline Tail Cave because I'm right on the beach anyway. And then did that into Feather, and I'm just like, or got Dark Moon gets me the boots, I get the Feather, and I'm like, cool. Check densities in dungeons, or just ignore everything that's left in Mabe. The downside was I was on the, I see them doing it now. The Turtle Rock and D5 back and forth dipping nonsense.
Yeah.
Because I imagine right now they're currently looking for flippers, which are in D8s. And the D8 Nightmare Key to get I don't remember, it's the cube, I think, which gets access to the bow.
Yes, it was the cube to give access to the bow. That was on Hothead's heart.
Yeah, so you need the Nightmare Key, which is in Catfish. So you need the flippers from Turtle Rock to go back to Catfish, to go get the cube, to get the bow, to go back to Turtle Rock, and get the
Gross.
It's
just
like,
wretchedly gross.
yeah.
I mean, excluding what you did, which was a very well executed dash super jump.
Yep. Yeah, I was just like, nope, I'm not doing anything. I don't want to go to D8. I need to know where we hinted the bombs, and this is why one of the potential banned hints was going to be bombs because of, like, you know, bomb triggers and the ability to bypass so much with it. But because there's 3, you've got a 30% chance of just getting a terrible bomb hint, and the one it gave me was Mambo's Mambo, and I'm like, I don't have flippers, I can't get that either.
Oh, no!
So I'm just sitting there like, I'm not getting those bombs. I might as well just go to D6 and hope I get enough shells.
Oh, that feels bad.
Yeah, it really was, because I'm like, those can't be my first bombs. And I'm like, do I have enough for a second bomb hint? No? Okay, then. Like, but then, yeah, I just did the D6 dip, because I had everything. I could get everything but one check, same as I did with Catfish Maw. So because I could do the Jesus jump drops into both of them, it was like, I can go in, get all of the checks but one, and hope I have enough shells or enough shards that one of us can go over the line and just get the stuff the other one needs.
Oh yeah, and I'm so glad you did the Jesus jump drops, because you know how much I love those tricks.
Yes, they were beautiful. I'm just sitting there like doing the Catfish Maw one. I'm like, I wonder if they know about this one.
Come on, it's me. You know I know about this one.
Yeah.
I didn't. It was a treat to see.
Yep. Just like, what is she doing? She's falling in the water, and there she goes.
I mean, fortunately, thanks to hanging out with you enough
Yeah.
and having run with you enough, I know both of the Jesus jump setups, so it definitely helps a lot.
Yeah. And in the seashell hunt, when you don't have to worry about the instruments, that's huge. And just, again, the density of checks in those areas.
Exactly. It played out in your favor very heavily.
Yeah, because, like, had I not gotten 20th shell from Dark Moon as I was in that Wizrobe room, it was just go up, do the ravine, various jumps, and clear the rest of that area. And I think there was a shell in there. I don't remember looking. I know one of them was in Turtle Rock, and another one was in like D2 in like behind keys. And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't go for those ones. Yeah.
So I was just gonna say, let me tell you, having the map be different between first week and second week just screwed with my brain. Because some of the, at least as far as I remember, the external boat checks around northern docks and so forth, those weren't on initially, were they?
Are you talking the docks?
The docks,
Northern docks?
Yeah, those were
So
off the first week, weren't they?
Northern docks were off first week. They came
see,
on this week with it being floaterless.
Yeah, and see, that was what. Oh, that's right, it's floaterless. That explained. Here, Maddie was like an hour in. Have you found your floater yet? I'm like, nope, I'm just working without it, I guess. I didn't even think about it because we played too much floaterless at this point. You just get used to it.
Yep.
So no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That explains it then. Yeah. So like, but because the canoe was so late, I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I have items."
Oh my god,
oh.
that canoe location! I was gonna like have a
gross.
seizure. It's just like go
So
fight
gross.
D8 or D2 boss. I'm like, okay, I have no keys. Like,
Yeah. When I didn't have cube, I start doing a grind outside of tower because, you know, when you don't have the canoe for the first hour of the game, your brain just is like, well, I guess I'm never getting canoe.
yeah. But then again, I got that feathered into just do D2, give him the canoe.
And then you realize that the canoe's absolutely necessary, and Maddie's over here like, I'm going to throttle somebody.
I mean, if she'd gotten a few more shells, canoe wouldn't have been necessary at that point, you know?
Yeah, it's very true. I'm like 11 already, and I'm like, we might be able to get away with this.
Wait, there was a discussion about it. Before I went into Skype House, and you were talking, and you were like, I'm going to go do this dungeon. A turtle, wasn't it? And you're like, okay, how many shards do you need? I'm like, I need 17 shards. And you're like, maybe I can find that in turtle.
You're welcome for the bad seed. Is what it's worth.
So awful.
I didn't mind it. It wasn't that bad. Granted, I'm insane. So.
I mean, to be fair, Maddie, some of the stuff that you and I will talk about doing and then actually do in LADX, yeah.
Oh, I mean, did you catch? They're not uploaded or commentated yet for FFR, but we did do our individual streams for Game 2 of our last one, or no, Game 1 of our last one, where I had to do the hookshot clip up mountain and beat them by 50 minutes.
I saw that.
I'm just bullying people. I'm sorry.
I mean, Rad's kind of struggled with how the logic of this seed played out.
Oh yeah, the logic in the seed is
logic. There was bad logic. Yeah.
This seed's logic was absolutely terrible.
Well, again, if you want flippers, you're going you're going to D8 with bombs, down to D5, and then back up to D8 because you need other stuff there. Now, granted, you can set up the teleporter there, which it looks like they did. I'm just catching Rad's also not getting that boomerang until way late. I'm guessing it was hinted at the very end.
Yep.
Yeah. I hinted the bow instead, just because it's additional checks in case I needed them. Because I was hinting it very early. And then once we hit 20 shells, I'm just like, where's the boomerang? Oh, it's right there. Okay, then I'm just gonna finish by.
Yeah, I saw that you hinted for the bow as well, and
couldn't get to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the problem was it being on Hothead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is terrible, because that's the place where the main reason I went with bow over boomerang was just because it's very slightly able to be higher up in logic. because the boomerang is never logical for anything. So it can be anywhere, whereas the bow, because there is that one check in D8, can sometimes be on your path.
Good old TR and the eye statue.
Yeah. That's it. We get to see Rad's attempt to bomb trigger this final boss. I wasn't allowed to do because I had no bombs and no.
Yeah, I was about to say you weren't able to bomb trigger, but it looked like you hit the Agamanip just fine without it.
Oh no, there's no Agamanip if you get the music. So it was just luck.
You should have just rolled with it, Maddie.
No, it's fine. I acknowledge that Aghanim gives me way too good RNG when I do races for some reason.
I am actually kind of in the same boat. I tend to get real good Aga RNG.
Ooh. This is not the quick kill? Oh, it's not the quick kill. No, Rads, no!
I think he just realized that he messed up.
No, he didn't. I mean, he did because he didn't clip into the wall. But doing the slashes is also going to ruin the Aghanim Minip later.
Yep.
So like this is just bad. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a bully. Looks like Circle Link a lot, just waiting for the end here.
Yeah. Wait for the end, give them the congrats.
Doing the same thing we did, except I think have they gotten the tail? Like, did they get it?
Or was in your seed?
Link is level 50 across the board.
Ah.
Oh my god, really? Where did he grind?
Blue stakes off of Power Cycle.
Lovely. I thought my sandwich grind was great, honestly, but I mean, yeah.
So Link was doing blue stakes off Power Cycle until Blizzard Poison.
Yep.
Oof.
And
so,
then went to sandwiches and then switched back.
Were they BK'd at some point, or was it just simply that he found it and he just decided to take it to 50?
So you remember the Oxy Ale that you found earlier on, Maddie?
Yeah.
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 They didn't find that?
Nope.
Well, I mean, it was deep into D7, and I'm just like, if they know to do D7, this place is loaded. Because it was very loaded featherless logic.
Yeah.
Like,
it was the only check on the second floor that Rats didn't do was, of course, the hookshot chest.
Yeah. Yeah, because I went up there and I'm like, if I'm going to D7, I don't want to come back in case there's like anything important here, so I just got everything. And then it was loaded. It was like Oxy Ale and was Chime up there too? I think Chime was up there too.
There was Oxy Ale, there was Chime, there were a lot of goodies.
Well, Link likes his red mages, so I'm sure he took the red mage with legendary swords and was swinging that X-Cal early.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, no. The second we saw that, and then we were thinking about him, because Maddie was like, are we ahead or behind? I go, well, I don't have anything to do right now except for grind on dragons until you get me an item. And then I'm like, but my dragon grind is going very slow. As you saw, I was killing one blue D per, visit. It was bad. And I'm like, if he has the X-Cal on his red mage, which I'm sure he does, then he's probably doing much better at this than I am.
And Link definitely was doing really, really well in the seed. But unfortunately, just getting stuck behind the rest of the stuff being in D7 led to a massive block. So,
I lucked out. That's what it is.
Yep. Because, what was it? Tail was also in D5, behind the boss. I'm just like, no. I'm not doing 3 dips.
I just basically let you do whatever you want, and then I just go where I can, is what it is.
Tail was on the torch chest, so I needed the flippers in D5. That was the one that was going to require, the rebounding back and forth between these 2 dungeons that are the worst 2 to get to, and I'm just like, no, I'm not, it's just not.
Yeah, rebounding between TR and Catfish, just no.
Yeah.
If it were facing Catfish, that's a different story.
Yeah, I honestly feel
really close.
I feel like in some ways these flags are just faster though. Last week, just because all we gotta do is find the
shell cuts out 6 bosses.
Yeah, exactly. We had to find keys in the previous week, but this week we're just like, we'll just go find some seashells, whatever. They're just gonna turn up. It'll be fine.
All right, we got. We got Link taking on Chaos right now, so this isn't going to be a very, very long fight.
No, he's not going to struggle the way I did.
I mean, he's already hit for 1479, and there's 11 for 1650 to end it. Get your GGs out for Team Avalon, finishing with a time of 1 hour 42 minutes 27 seconds.
GG, that's still really close. We can't rest on our laurels. I have to get my bomb checks next time.
I was about to say.
I need to not forget that I can do crap without canoe.
Yep.
And there would be Team Avalon, Sir Linkalot, and Rad's Prower. GG's.
Welcome, welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I let me have it. Just let me have it.
I mean, it didn't feel that bad other than the one item that, locked literally everything.
Which one item? Was it the canoe or the
Oxyale?
So it wasn't, it was actually, technically it was the canoe, but we needed, what was the tail key? I think
the D2 keys, which,
yeah. There was a whole chain of stuff there that if I had went and got that one chest in Eagle Tower, we would have been done probably 20 minutes sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was doing all of Eagle's Tower, and I'm like, do they know Featherless Eagle's Tower to, like, actually get all of the checks here? And I just, like, shrug and left. Yeah, no, I did all of Eagle's Tower, and then I'm like, all right, because it's just, I don't want to come back here. I will do the worst checks in here, because I don't want to do the climb back up. And then later we were hinting stuff. And then later we were hinting stuff, and, like, the amount of connected back and forth between Turtle Rock and Catfish, and I'm just like, no, this is terrible.
Well, see, that's the thing. Because of how things rolled out for us, I barely spent any time in Catfish. I went in there, and I got a couple of shells, and that's what put me in go mode, and I just left from there.
Yeah, so I was doing Catfish before then because I didn't have bombs, by the way. I never picked them up from Dream Shrine. I did not get bombs the entire seat, so because I didn't have bombs, going to Turtle Rock was out of the question. So it's just like, alright, if I'm gonna have to go to one of them once, I'm gonna go to Catfish, because at least there might be bombs in there for Master Stalfos. And there weren't. So I full cleared that dungeon except for the dive chest and the Master Stalfos 4. And just like, this is fine. This is fine. But then after getting that, I went like halfway up to D8, remembered I didn't have bombs, and was like, oh yeah, I went for that nightmare key to go get the cube from D8, and oops. So I just went and did D6, and that was the rest of my shells, and it was like, alright, cool. Who needs flippers?
I had just so happened to get the Song of Soul too, so I could have got there either way, but I did get the bombs from the Dream Shrine.
Yeah, I was bombless. And I hinted bombs on the way to D8, and the bombs that it decided to hint for me were the Mambo's Mambo ones. And I'm just like, ooh. I don't have flippers, game. What do I do with this information?
Yeah, that's not helpful.
Yeah. It's just like, bombs are such a crapshoot to actually try to hint. And the 30% did not pay off for me, so I'm just like, alright, I need to figure out doing this without bombs. Oh.
But yeah, no. As soon as we could get to Canoe, or actually, it was really like Oxyale, because as soon as I got Oxyale, I got him the key, and he immediately checked that, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna go get your canoe, and it's just like we were.
Yeah, it snowballed from there. We were on a roll.
Oh yeah, I got the tail key on the beach, so I'm just like, I'm going right to D1, because I think I was cashing in dog food for a whole lot of nothing, but it's like tail key. It's like, okay, cool. There goes my save and quit plans. We're just gonna go.
Yeah, mine was, see, like, as soon as I got that, I was already ready to I was already like ready to finish. I just needed
big levels you had. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, I was only like 40 across the board, and my black belt was 50. So.
Oh, you took a black belt. Okay.
Oh yeah, I saw the black belt with the 20 hit. I'm just like, I'll take that. I'm like, I don't care about literally anything else. It's like, if I need to, I'll grind it up to 12 hits and it will win.
Yeah. I didn't want to grind if I could help it.
I mean, there were T-Rexes off the hard reset.
You lucked out in that. I'm not going to deny you. That was really nice. I didn't find those. So
well, see, there were like sandwiches as well. So like I took sandwiches until I could, because the T-Rexes had poison and blizzard.
The
So
Yep.
yeah, I saw the sandworms. I'm like, all right, cool, sandworms, let's go. And then I'm like, I'll wait till I get like 8 hits. Then I'm going after the T-Rexes. I'm going to take it to 50. Hopefully, I have goodies. If I don't, I'm going to go resurrect everybody, and then I'm going to keep killing T-Rexes until I have something to do.
Yeah, the only reason I was
to
grinding
extinction.
was I kind of
Yes, they are very extinct at this point. I murdered
all of them.
Probably well over 100 of them.
Yeah,
It was fun. It was fun to see my red mage swing the Excalibur for almost 1,000 a couple times too. So,
Link, you ate all the sandwiches and all the steaks, literally.
oh my black belt was swollen. Like my black belt was just rolling into Topher. Like, all right, y'all three just wait. I got this. Don't worry about it. And I was like, wait a second, my red mage has temper. I remembered on Chaos. Like, let's go ahead and do that. It's like, have a little bit of help. Black belt's just like, now really. You wait till the just like, just go away. I'm like, yeah, okay, never mind.
Black belt looks at red mage and is like, "Oh, come on, final hit, 1,600 damage. Yeah, that's how it should be done."
See, while I was waiting for Rats to finish too, I was gonna try. I forgot. Well, I didn't completely forget, but I was like, I'm gonna go have some fun with the imps. I'm gonna like use the saber bonk on my black belt and like 10 times and just see how hard I can punch an imp. And it just never worked because they kept running, and then
yeah, it's because you had everybody at level 50.
I mean, yeah, that's a reason. Imps aren't prone to stay around when you're like well above any kind of level you need to finish the game.
Yep. I mean, they start running away at like level 10 anyway.
Flee.
Oh, they were definitely like, no, we want none of this. Like, we want to. If we're going to die, we at least want to have a corpse. We do not want to be a pile of something we just cannot recognize.
I think if you had managed to hit them, you would have killed 5 generations of them on either side.
Oh, it would have probably would have reached 2,000 years into the past and killed all of the imps from back then too.
I mean, I think we might have to go a little farther than that, or I guess ahead in time. You wouldn't have just destroyed the imp from FF1, but probably even the imps all the way up to FF5.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're jumping consoles at that point. But I don't think I have any other questions because everything got pretty well addressed. Karant, can you think of anything that you might want to ask?
No, not particularly. Just wanted to say GG's to both teams. Y'all put on a great race. Maddie, seeing a lot of the things that you were able to pull off in terms of the skips and the jumps and everything. My poor little self, who hasn't seen much or played much LADX, was like sitting there going, "Holy Moses!" So definitely much appreciated on that front. But yeah, thank you all for racing. And just, it was a great show. I definitely appreciate it. And y'all pretty much took care of any questions I might have had when you all were basically banting back and forth about the seeds. So yeah, just thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And Maddie, you would be proud at the explanations I gave on the tricks.
I am already more proud than I could be. We'll see how game 2 on this goes, because I really don't think we can rest on our laurels. This is still a very close time with all of the shenanigans. I need to not forget bombs, otherwise we could go to game 3 very easily.
Hopefully my tracker works next time.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, that made life pretty miserable trying to keep track of that stuff manually.
Yeah, I actually don't use the map tracker. I only use the items just so I can see what I have at any given time.
Yeah, that was part of the problem is I couldn't keep track of what keys I had and all that stuff, so I kept having to pull up the menu and checking manually, and it was a mess.
Check for updates, because I know AP and the tracker have both had some recently. Not too many, but enough that I know K-Branch is messing with the compatibility, because there's stuff not working as intended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
But I'd say let's go ahead and move on to some final thoughts, so that way we can give RPG Limit Break their channel back. So, Maddie Darkmoon of Team Pizza Power, we'll start with both of you first.
Well, for me, I'm happy that I know how to cheat, and I am very much eager to how close this game 2 is going to be, because this, even with this horrible seed, that is basically throw-in distance of a time for you two. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. I like this version of co-op a lot, with the ability to just like really fast reset out of everything you get and not having to worry about waiting for it to upload to the cloud, like with our standard co-op that we have. So it's like, you drop a house or a tent somewhere and you like wander halfway across the map, go check a few things and reset back, and it's smooth. I really like this version. So
Smooth as butter.
it's fun.
And now I'll throw it over to Team Avalon, Rads, and Sir Link-A-Lot.
I'm looking forward to the rest of the matches. Like I said, it was pretty close despite, how bad that mistake was on my part, and that's how it goes. You make one bad call and it sets you back. But, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can get the problems ironed out on my end and get that sorted out, and we'll have a good 2, hopefully a 3-2.
Yeah, same. I'm looking forward to the race on Saturday. Hopefully we can win that one so we can get a lovely game 3 on Sunday.
I'm looking forward to it. Y'all got me excited.
Now the question is, do you guys want me rolling again? That's going to be the real question.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll take a Danny seed.
That's wow. That's something. Holy cow! If we're invoking Danny in favor of this, you know it's rough.
Yep.
I'll get the summoning circle ready.
Well, Current, it's been a
Yes.
blast doing comms again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any final thoughts before I take us on home for the night?
No, just thank you to all of our runners on Pizza Power and Team Avalon for giving us such a great dumpster fire of a seed. Well, at least playing the dumpster fire. It was all your fault, Sonny. So thank you for giving us the dumpster fire, Sonny. And and definitely thank you to everybody who helped out in terms of all of the crew today. Of course, Sonny put up with the fact that I know very little about LADX and straight up carried me through this seat as far as commentary was concerned. Then we had Socket and Odron on the tracking. Odron had to go ahead and step out, so I'll go ahead and wish them a thank you kind of in absentia. And of course, Hate 13 helping us out with the restream and making it to where we could enjoy this dumpster fire. So definitely thank you very much to everybody helping out. And yeah, it was a great time.
But yeah, like Current said, gonna echo that thanks to our runners, Maddie and Dark Moon of Pizza Power, Rads and Sir Link-A-Lot of Team Avalon. Current, it's always fantastic being in the booth with you, so I am very glad you were able to jump in here more or less last minute. Always
yeah, pretty much.
a ton of fun. Hate, always a huge thanks on the restream. Odron and Socket, amazing trackers as always. Definitely much love to you guys. Be sure to give everybody a follow here. Definitely give RPG Limit Break a follow. I guarantee you we're going to have more matches coming up as this tournament continues on, as we are only in the semifinals. We do have one more round after this with the finals, and then I believe we might be looking at a bonus race. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Maddie.
Potentially.
We'll see. We'll see. If the losers want to do a losers bracket and they have a top, I will definitely find some time to do a 2 out of 3 and potentially see about giving it up. I can't guarantee that for the other team that will probably beat us in the finals, though. Yeah.
That is fair. But on behalf of our runners, Dark Moon EX, and Maddie, and if I remember your Twitch handle correctly, it's Isabel Zephyr.
That is correct.
Of course, for Team Avalon, Raz Prower and Sir Link-A-Lot. My co-commentator, Current. Our trackers, Odron and Socket. Restreamer Hate the 13th. I'm Sonny Roth 11. Thank you all for tuning in for this race of the Link's Awakening DX Randomizer and Final Fantasy Randomizer AP tournament. We'll be back around with more races, but until then, we'll see y'all next time. Keep those instruments playing and keep those orbs alive.